Good morning, everyone. Speaking from Jerusalem to you this morning, Sunday, February 21st, a historic day in the land of Israel. Israel today is pioneering the selection method, selection system it's been wanting to implement since the beginning of this so-called pandemic. From today onward, people will be marked vaccinated, not vaccinated, approved, disapproved, civil, not civil, so on and so forth. People who protect the public and people who put public in jeopardy. Disease spreaders, they call them, non-vaccinators. Let me just tell you something that I came up with, actually, something that I felt um, is a serious indication that this was the plan all along. And we've been in lockdown since March of last year, 11 months of lockdown, almost. And they have refused to give, when I'm saying they, it's the government and the Ministry of Health in Israel have refused to give scientific data, scientific information to the public, to the committees in our parliament that are in charge of um, actually, how would you call that? They're in charge of monitoring the legislative and the laws, the instructions that were implemented in an emergency state for the corona, and with all the lockdowns, businesses closing, they have demanded specific information for specific businesses such as gyms, um, theaters, museums, other areas, sports, and the list goes on. The Ministry of Health refused to give information. They did not have information, or they refused to give it in certain instances, and they still demanded that these businesses be closed. And without explanation, without scientific proof, they have demanded these businesses be closed. And guess what happened? Today, all these businesses are miraculously opening because, 40% or up to 50% of Israel's population has been vaccinated. And so they're opening it only to vaccinated people. Guess what? This was the plan all along. They did not want the economy to open on the basis of scientific data. They wanted the economy to open on the basis of a vaccination agenda. This is what's going on here. And we are being discriminated. I'm not ashamed to say that we are not being vaccinated. We're not taking part of this operation. We are being discriminated. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to theaters. I can't go to sport events. I can't go to certain places that normal people can in a normal environment, in a normal society. But we have become a radicalized society. We have become a divided society. We have become a society that speaks with pre-Holocaust terminologies. People call us disease spreaders and other terms. This is unprecedented in Israel. This is unprecedented to be happening in the Jewish people. And I just want to call all of you to be aware of what's happening in Israel today and be praying. And if you have any influence, any power whatsoever to raise your voice, to raise your voice in the international community, to raise your voice if you have a voice within your constituency. This is unprecedented. This is dehumanizing. This is very, very, very dangerous. And I'm not even talking about biblical precedents for, end time, mark of the beast and all that. I'm not going to go there. But just on a human rights side of things, this is utterly wrong, and this is utterly dangerous to our society. And Israel is pioneering something that is extremely, extremely sinister, and I believe extremely dark. So I just want to ask you, stand with us, stand with our people. There is 50% of the population that does not want to get vaccinated. They're being forced to be vaccinated through these sanctions. Businesses are forced to adopt these instructions that are also against the laws. They're against the laws of human rights. But see what's happened here. They've held them hostage. They've held all of us hostage for almost a year, draining the economy so they can put this pressure on the businesses in Israel. So pray for businesses in Israel to stand strong and say that they can't adopt this kind of method, and they can't take part of this. This is utter discrimination, and very, very counterproductive. And there's also other medical scientific issues around, vaccinated or non-vaccinated. If people are vaccinated, why are they so afraid of non-vaccinated people? If it's preventing contraction, then why are they afraid of letting non-vaccinated people in if they can't contract the disease? And if it is, if you can still contract the disease while you're vaccinated, then why are we being discriminated? So there's many violations of scientific data and scientific basis and truth and human rights. So I just want to call you to stand with us and be aware of what's happening in our country today. This is Israel 2021 for you. We have entered a new era, and this era is leading somewhere that I believe is going to be dark, but also going to be full of light and the power of God and justice. So let's stand together in faith that God will expose any evil plan, any evil, sinister spirit that's behind all this, and any system that is trying to steal our liberties and to invoke something that is very, very deceiving and very destructive on our people and the world. In Jesus' name, love you guys.